Okay. So I just held up hard to the screen. I didn't see it. I closed my eyes. So what I'm going to try to do is stay on topic. I'm going to see if I can do the thing that I originally planned on doing. And if I buffer again, then I guess I'm done. It's fine. The glue is come undone, or it's coming undone. All is changing. All has already been changed. Or maybe it's all that will change has already been changed. And I guess I won't talk too too much about it because apparently my stream shut down. I logged in on my phone and it was just like, I feel like it's the opposite of what you'd expect. I feel like it's the opposite of what we'd expect. I feel like it's the opposite of what we'd expect. Maybe that's the message. It's the opposite of what you'd expect. So expect the unexpected. I don't know. Ooh. Thank you for coming back, Eva. Welcome back. Maybe it was your dragon with the talon that shut the stream down. Do I have any dragons? I had a dragon in the wild unknown animal spirits. I feel like it's the opposite of what you'd expect. I feel like it's the opposite of what we'd expect. I feel like it's the opposite of what we'd expect. Now it's just in my head now. I feel like it's the opposite of what we'd expect. Maybe it's coming undone to be cleaned or like to be purged. Maybe there's some junk, some buildup in the in-between. And so it's like we're pulling it apart. So things are going to be temporarily, maybe potentially weird because the glue of reality is a little thinner right now as the in-between is worked on. And then we'll put it back together. Maybe the putting it back together is the fixed nodes, whereas the mutable nodes was the clearing everything up, and the cardinal nodes was when it was coming apart. Maybe not. Like calc, that rune. Like new calc or old calc? Because I think old calc was undissolving or something like that. But new calc, I have no clue. I'd have to look at the document. It could have been, but you didn't get a lot of dragon energy. Excuse me. Well, if you say you didn't get a lot of dragon energy, I trust you. I think these are nice and shuffled. At the cut, it's soul retrieval and fire. This is interesting because fire to me is the element of soul, but this is a single piece. So this is like reaching your hand into a fire and like pulling out something. Now, if you're pulling something out of the fire, in my mind, it would be a blade or a weapon. If you like stick your hand in and then just pull it out, but I don't know. I feel like it's the opposite of what you'd expect. Let's go reversals. Why not? Just put reversals in this deck. Just popped in your head. Oh. Well, I know Aquarius got calc. And that was the opposite of what you'd expect. Because water breaks down a lot of things. It's like water dissolves the insoluble. But that calc was water resistant. Like it didn't wear to water. Water had no effect on it. And that calc was so powerful. It's like time had no effect on it. When Aquarius came out with the runes, I think that's the same reading where Sagittarius got that energy of like that new interface being built in between those two opposites. I'm pretty sure it was the same one, but I remember that. I was like, anything that is affected by time has no sway here. And then the Time Master did come out with the curse. So, I don't know. Anyway, so the card for the thumbnail was the Spiral. Okay. Bottom of the deck is the Rainmaker in reverse. The Rainmaker in reverse would be the Shine Maker. Like come rain or shine. And the Shine Maker and the Spiral is interesting because that's an energy where we never get to the root cause of an issue because we're always like taking the easy way out, or we're always trying to make ourselves feel better about something. It's like not sitting with it long enough to see what the actual problem is. And it leads to a very superficial energy, which, surprise, surprise, the Spiral, you experience more of the same. And you're like, I thought I took care of this. And it's like, no, you didn't. If you did, you wouldn't be experiencing it again. Now, there are things that we experience at multiple levels and in different ways. Like I've been on the giving side of some of what I've received in a positive way. And it was just like, wow. Because when I was receiving it, I didn't necessarily believe that I'd have the patience to give the same. But, lo and behold, one day I find myself with an abundance of patience, apparently. I was such an impatient child. I was very Veruca, if you know what I mean. I want it now, daddy. Sorry. Or something you didn't mean to burn. Wait, what? Sag was like too busy doing whatever Sag was doing. I don't know if anyone could break that down though. Because it's not meant to be broken. Yeah. Patience is a virtue, they say. We had an essay contest in middle school, and I wrote my essay about things that I learned in kindergarten or something like that. And I was like, one of the things I learned was patience with my last name starting with a W and always being at the back of the line or something like that. And then I got recognized for it and I had to read it at an assembly or whatever. And people were like, oh my gosh, your essay was so good. I was like, oh my gosh, thank you. Yeah. And then I went to high school and somebody thought that, I shouldn't be writing at the level that I was writing. And so I got C's on everything because I was like plagiarizing. And I was like, plagiarizing what? Like, we watched a movie. What am I plagiarizing? I didn't piece it together, but she was always like, and I know what level a high schooler should be writing at. I was like, girl, I was reading at this level before I left elementary school. Hello? Because when I was growing up, I didn't have cable or video games. And so I read a lot. But anyway. And then I got cable and video games and I stopped reading. And now that I have cable and video games, still I don't read. I'm just playing. I can listen though. So I'm going to go to the original thing I was going to do. If it cuts out on me, I quit. I'm going to use the Starman Tarot and the Dali Tarot. I'm going to do the Dali Tarot first. So you can choose whichever, or you can choose both, or you can choose neither, because the choice is yours, as always. If it doesn't resonate with you, even though you chose it, maybe it's still not yours. You know what I mean? I'm only doing two. And I'm only one person. And literally the whole point of this, like I said in the beginning of the last video, when I proceeded to not do the thing that I gave all of that exposition about, was that like we have different modalities. We're wired in different ways. It's come to me this way. We have different modalities. We're wired in different ways. Our elemental makeups are different. What's fire for me may be earth, air, or water for you. Or it could be fire for you. And the water could be water for you, but what is air for you could be earth for me. You know what I mean? This is in no means exhaustive, but if it gives you somewhere to start, 707, there's that number again. 7:07. Excuse me. Ba-da-da. His Baja Blast. Oh, I should go to Taco Bell. I should go to Taco Bell and get a Baja Blast. I think I was thinking about Taco Bell too. Maybe it's because I said that when Rob was talking about his connection, and then he showed me the picture of the nobody being on the stairs with the camera picking up somebody on the stairs. I was like, yeah, time to double down on the fast food. Calcify this third eye. I'm just playing. So I'm gonna grab these now. I said I'm gonna start with the Dali Tarot, but I'm out of line. Maybe I did, maybe I didn't. Oof. Is that? I don't know. Okay. And I think this one is here. Yes, it is. Nice. So what I'm gonna do is I have the runes face down. I'm gonna pull one out face down, and I'm gonna keep it there. I'm gonna mute this group. I'm gonna mute it. It was my email. Where's my email? Where's my email? There it is. Also gonna already done. Nice. 1 second. Step. Let the music move you. Girl, no. Ain't no way. Here we go. Okay, nice. So I have the spread pulled up over there just so I can remind myself. And then I was gonna I'm like, oh, I could run people through the curriculum. It's so funny because I built it in 2019, 18, 19, 2019 is when I started building it, September, October to November, December, in that time frame. But it was starting to some of them was a lot, and I was like, okay, I need to finish school and get my degree before I keep doing this, right? And so almost a year later, in the meantime, I was thinking about it. But almost a year later, one day, because I was talking about actually running people through it or sitting down with people, and reading them, and somebody popped into my mind immediately. I was like, oh my gosh, I know who would be perfect to start, but she doesn't have any cards. And you don't need cards, but cards, it gives you something to communicate with, question mark, a language to use, right? Through associations and imagery and stuff like that. And she was like, oh, actually, I just got my first tarot deck. And I was like, oh, perfect alignment. Love it. And I was not ready. I wasn't ready. She wasn't ready. The first reading was heavy, 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 heavy. And she's one of my best friends. So that's one thing. I was like, girl, this is a lot. This is heavy. And a few of them were really heavy, but then they got lighter. And I was like, what? Okay, well, somebody been doing the work. But anyway. And then I had a thought. I had the thought every now and then to either finish building the spreads or to run people through it. But I'm like, I almost wouldn't run. I wouldn't want to run someone through it that I don't know, because it can be heavy. And it's a heaviness that's meant to be faced. And I don't know, I'm not super comfortable getting all up in everybody business. I ain't trying to be crying in front of everybody. Well, I guess, I don't care. No, we're not doing this. We're doing the dollies first. Hello. But I know not everyone is necessarily comfortable with some stuff like that. And there is there are parts that are to be discovered by like one's own self. I remember like every now, that's why the Queen of Cups and the Spirit Keeper's Tarot is my card. That's my card because whenever I was doing a reading and I would see that Queen of Cups, she was glaring at me. She was like, I was like, I ain't trying to get in trouble. I ain't gonna say too much. Some of it is meant to be discovered. Some of it, like, it's not even for me to know. Some of it, like I said earlier, I don't even comprehend because I don't even operate in some ways. And I'm just like, it's like this kind of energy, but I don't know what this is. And she's like, oh my gosh, yeah. And she didn't say it like that, but basically, I'm paraphrasing. But every now and then it's like, well, why did I build it if I'm not gonna? And then I was like, well, I could just upload them and let people do them at their own pace. But I don't know. I find that I don't know, but I think that a lot of what I do is like it's action oriented. I feel. Um, it isn't necessarily things that just happen. I don't have the ability to make things just happen for people, but maybe I can see how people can help themselves go where they're trying to go sometimes. Maybe. I don't know. I don't know. Excuse me. I'm going to be using a spread that I may have used on this channel. I remember there was one point in Hermit Week, I would build a spread and then I would go live. And the first person who said something, I was like, hey, I just built a spread. Like, you want me to use it on you? Those are interesting. Because I had a friend who she asked me to read her. And I was like, oh, girl, you got big energy. She has big energy that has a lot of momentum and it moves. So I was like, oof. So I had to build spreads to work up to the spread I built for her. But anyway, I'm going to be using a proprietary spread today, Eve. Honestly, though, I could probably send it to you. I have your email. And then if you want to use it, because I don't think I've just given it to somebody, had them use it, and then see how it works for them. Excuse me. But even when I do it with her, like, it's mostly guided, right? Like, I'm not trying to, because I feel like that's the only way it would really hold any kind of significance anyway. I'm not trying to tell somebody who they are, but if I can get like from an outside perspective or from my point of view, okay. How am I doing this? Oh, that felt nice. You tried on yourself just to see? Oof. I'll send it to you. Actually, I'll forward this to you. Can I do that? Technically, you're skipping step 0, but that's fine. This is step 1. And like I built, so the spreads are built off the energies of the major arcana. And so they go sequentially. But like in doing all of them, you can see how like energies that you previously sort of like visited play factors as you're like continuing the journey, and as like you work through things and as you resolve things, then you get to see almost those energies blossom into their potentials. Like step 0 is sort of like attempting to read the potential. This one is still in it, it's a spread of potential, and the second one I think is also a spread of potential. And then it's like that's when it starts to like whatever. So, but I've only like run I've only like walked one person through it. I don't even remember if I tried it on myself. I pulled maybe, and I was like, this seems like it could resonate potentially. But anyway, But yeah, I'll send it. Let me. Oh wait, I said I was going to forward it. Let me read this first. What? Hold on, wait. Oh, okay. You don't have to check out the video. I mean, you can if you want. Like I said, like she had just gotten her deck, so. Oof, oof. Okay, never mind. So I'm gonna try to do this. There is some like personal information, but I can just forward you the PDF. Before I forget, Eve. There you are. Boop. I'll say STEP1. Have fun. LOL. Let me know if it works out for ya. Exclamation mark. Best. There you go. Hey, Shayna. How are you? Am I going to have to timestamp this? I'll timestamp it. It's been 20 minutes again. Oh my gosh. Okay. So the white ones, it's fine. Okay. I don't know. Okay. We'll do this as one. Ah! This is two. That energy came out before. You're on a train. What? Girl! Wait, what? Oh, that took a whole turn. That took a whole turn. I was like, wait, what? I was like, oh, Shayna, where you going? That's a lot of cards. That's 5 cards. What? I wish they had numbers. Am I taking all these? Yeah, I am. These cards are tiny, and my little rune is. Oh, so you're going to NYC? Okay. I was like, so you are actually on a train. I don't think I've ever ridden in a train either. Who are you? You're going to be my first element. See, this is what I'm talking about. So if you chose the Dali Tarot, I'm going to do my best. I don't know if I'm going to be able to read this. Not that I won't be able to read it, but I work in metaphors and what? Let's go. Wait, I thought you were on like the West Coast for some reason. Are you on the West Coast going to the East Coast? You going transcontinental? Or trans-American? Or trans-United States of America? Well, have fun. Be safe. Enjoy yourself. Okay, come through. Pairs of... Oh, this is 3 cards. Hold up. Let's see if I'm going to understand any of this. Okay. This is gonna be really interesting. So I didn't even timestamp this. It was like 20. I'll timestamp it when they all come out. It's fine. Oh, okay, gotcha. You flew to Boston. Now you're on a train to NYC. I want to go to Washington. I want to go to Seattle. You live near DC? Oh, I thought you were in like California for some reason. Oh, did you move? I have a friend in DC and then another friend who's going to be moving there after the start of the year. Oh. Hey Siri, flip a coin.
On it. It's tails this time.
I was low key like, if Siri says tails, I'm just going to quit. And Siri said tails, so. Well, okay. Never mind. So I guess there's two left, but the last one. Ba-ba-da. Wait. You moved from Tokyo? You moved from Tokyo? Why? I'll trade you places. I would have traded you. Well, you wouldn't want to be here, but. You went to Maine a few years back and loved it. I think I've been to Florida. We went to Disney World when I was in the 5th grade. I've been to North Carolina. That's it. Like I've been to Alabama. Pretty sure I've been to Georgia, but the company you work for has HQ in Kyoto. What? I'm like, I'm going to HQ. Okay. What's this last element? That's way too many cards. I'm not doing it. This is so earth heavy. I'm just like, ugh. I'm freezing now. And I feel like I can feel the breeze blowing in even more. Oh, because you had to leave. Okay. That makes sense. I had a friend who taught English for a year, I think, in Japan, but he didn't get a big city. He got like some little town out somewhere and he did not enjoy it. He's like, yeah, he didn't even finish the whole year. He was there for like 11 months and then I think he had like a month of vacation or something. So he just used it all and came home early. You think you're allergic to Disney? Did you go to Disney and then have like an allergy attack? This is a lot. That's 4 cards, but you know what? We got 4 cards for the other one, so I'll take. Of course, it's more of this energy. Why wouldn't it be? Oof! I wasn't supposed to look at the bottom of the deck, but I did, and I'm gonna pull this one. I'm actually gonna look at the rune first. If I have to, oops! Well, this one comes out too. Oh. Oh, let me timestamp. Let me stamp the time. I'm gonna say 30 minutes. Because by the time I finish typing it, it will be. Oops, not 20, 30. Excuse me. Tokyo Disney is nice. Ooh. I've heard that about Disney Tokyo. I took Japanese for a few years in school. I failed Japanese. Well, I withdrew from Japanese 301. I withdrew from Japanese 301 three times because I was doing it too late in the game and I didn't major in Japanese. So it was too much time spent not doing like courses for my major and I couldn't get a minor. So the card you got is Hagal or Heigl if you do an AEI sound. Icelandic. It's number 9. It's weathering. There's something about Hagal that's very like neglected in some spaces. Like this is strong. And it didn't come out how I truly envisioned it. It was like supposed to be heavy on the top and then like heavy on the bottom. But it didn't happen that way. And it was an energy of like instead of it going fully down this one, it kind of sort of like bleeds out over here. And then when it does that, even though gravity should be stronger going straight down, it also assists in this direction. And then this one isn't as like there's something about like this one isn't as grounded and this one is very grounded, but it's not as imaginative or something. It's not as airy. And weathering in some ways, it's about enduring. Weathering is about endurance and perseverance, but it gets chipped away. And so it's like, the rock persists as best it can, but the water still makes its way through it. This is earth heavy. Like earth heavy, 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 heavy. Going to Disneyland sounds like a mocking nightmare. Oh my gosh. The thing I didn't like about Disney World was that it was hot in Florida in the summer. I was on my feet all day. The lines was long. We waited in a line for I think over an hour. It might have been like an hour and a half, an hour and 45 minutes to ride on Space Mountain. Space Mountain was like 5 minutes long. The entirety of the ride was like 5 minutes. I waited an hour and a half for a 5 minute ride. And then we waited until after the fireworks where everybody was trying to leave. And it was a lot. It was a lot. But, you know, memories, I guess. Hello. Welcome back, Tweety. Welcome back, Tweety. It's a small world after all. What? It's a small world after all. It's a small world after all. Okay, so back into this. This is going to be interesting, Dollies, because okay. So in the first position, we have the Fool. This is a position of strengths. It's a position of weaknesses. It's what you come in with. So it can be either or. And like if this was a one card reading or two because I have the Hagal, like the energy for this is already it's like it feels like they're so this feels like someone whose gift is to be curious. This is very Gemini energy. Can also be Sagittarian. Um, but it feels more Gemini because it feels a little bit more um I don't want to say juvenile because it's not juvenile. It's not immature. but it's a type of curiosity that we associate with children. But it can also be Sagittarian in your ability to pursue things to satiate your curiosity, because it feels like big curiosity. And for me, Sagittarius is big curiosity, but Gemini is more hands-on with their curiosity. So it's a mixture in between that. But it's oops, if I can keep it in my hand, it's El Loco, the crazy one. It's the fool. And it's almost like you're coming in with a blank slate. Or you're coming in with an ability to like observe and absorb. Now, it's interesting because what life or whatever period of time in particular it's asking you to do, it's coming out with the King of Pentacles. So you're kind of sort of like, it's like, okay, you're the fool and you need to be the King of Pentacles. And what this is supposed to be, it feels like what this is supposed to be, it's an opportunity, it's a lifetime or a series of lifetimes or just an experience of you discovering what is and what is not you in a lived way. The one of the dangers it feels like, and I haven't even gotten all the way into this, but it's almost like be wary of falling into um other people's, oh, my brain, I can't even, what'd you say? Did I timestamp? Um, recap what? Oh yeah, we're just starting. Who is this on this? Oh, it's Scorpio, the Fool of Scorpio here. Oh my gosh, and it's Scorpio season right now. Well, if Scorpio is death and transformation, and I did see that part of the video yesterday on Russ's channel. If Scorpio is death and transformation, I feel like it fits this energy, but it feels like a lived Scorpio would kind of get stuck in it. Whereas this Fool energy, it's almost to be like completely new. It's like, I did that thing as a chiropractor for a few years. I loved it, but right now I want to be an artist. It's Aries in that way, I guess, because that's an energy that's easy to associate with Aries. It's like you do different things and you're fully engaged in all of them, but it comes to the point where it's like you sort of like go somewhere new. And it's not going somewhere new. I don't have to put too many caveats on it. It's that kind of energy. And I don't know if you eventually reach the point where you become a jack of all trades because you've done so much. But it's like, don't fall into the expectations of society and other people to get where you're going. It's very much like enjoy the ride and you'll get there type of energy. So, next is what you're starting with. And what you're starting with was like 4 cards or 5. I was like, oh my gosh. I was thinking of the King of Swords earlier today. Maybe it was before I went live. And how the King of Swords energy is kind of sort of low key where it's at right now. So you start with the Knight of Swords and the King of Swords. I feel like it's all building up. So first we have the Knight of Swords. And it feels like this Knight of Swords energy, there is a certain I don't know if completion is the word. It feels like you would think or feel that you know a lot, if not all. But it's like in reality, there's a lot more that you don't know. But it's not telling you that there's a lot that you don't know in the sense to like humble you or in the sense to make you feel like you don't know a lot. It's this energy of like there's still more that you don't know in a way like a very expanded horizons. It's almost like you've done everything that you could do where you were, so here's something new to explore. Maybe this is like the process of going from the Fool to the King of Coins that I literally just talked about. Because you go from the Knight of Swords, which is learning, to the King of Swords, which is mastering. And then the King of Swords, after that, is the seven, I believe, of Pentacles. One, two, three, four, five, six, seven. After that is the Seven of Pentacles. So it's like you come into the space of mastering whatever it is you were working on in a very not practical way, in a very like thought way, in a very analytical way. It may not necessarily be how reality works on a more absolute scale. It feels more situational, but that serves as the foundation for whatever it is you're building towards. And somebody, I think it's when I did that, like the four truths or whatever. This feels like, I think the first one, I think it was the lanterns. This feels like the first lantern, I think, where it was that energy where it's like it's for you to experience a lot because where you're going to need everything that you accumulated along the way. And this is that Rod and Feo energy. It's like accumulating experiences in life from the journeys that you take. After that, Seven of Pentacles is the Ten of Pentacles, which is again, it feels like it's confirming that like all of this builds up to something that's going to be more completely you. It's not necessarily more completely you. Honestly, this feels like a path that would be perfect for someone who is destined to make great changes on earth in some way. But it feels like you can't make those changes if you haven't had those experiences because you wouldn't even know what you need to change. Right? It's like if there's a whole room that needs to be cleaned, but you never open the door, so you don't know that it needs to be cleaned. Type of energy. And the last card is the Eight of Pentacles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. They ain't got no numbers, so I gotta count to make sure. But you were thinking about the King of Air? Oh my gosh, me too. With the Eight of Pentacles, it's almost this energy where it's like that is your gift, that is your or like therein lies your mastery. It's almost like you would be the type of person who like you learn stuff really, really, really quickly. You pick up on things. And so what happens is there's someone who needs something, but they don't know. And so what they do is like they reach out to you, you learn it, and then you teach them the thing that you just learned. And it's almost like that's your job is to go in blank slate, blank canvas, to be full or filled, and then to give. And as you're doing that, all the while you're accumulating stuff within yourself that at some point may actually make it easier to do other things or to learn something else, or it makes the learning even shorter. And it also, what it does is like it builds your vocabulary, it builds out your Rolodex, it builds your foundation your foundational skill set to the point where you can start pulling from different sort of aspects and areas to the point where you can start seeing similarities in between things, where you can start connecting dots. And connecting the dots, if the part of you being positioned to change something, you having the ability to connect the dots, it's almost like there are things that you can insert to complete the picture in a different way. And it's funny because it almost feels like that the middle world coming in between the upper world and the lower world, like you create these stepping stones for us to actually like get somewhere, rather than it being like this huge thing that we can't clear. It's like you break it down step by step by step by step. And it feels like it smooths the transition of things as well in some way. And it feels like yours is an energy that's like very palatable and easy to learn from in some way. Maybe it's because you also begin to understand how people work to teach them. Because it's like while you're learning the stuff, you're also learning the person. And so you're like connecting the dots in between. It's like you're connecting the dots for them, but you don't connect the dots. You lay out the dots for them. You can number the dots. If you've ever done a dot to dot, you don't just randomly go from whatever dot to whatever dot. Like the dots have numbers. And when you connect the dots in a certain sequence, they form an image. So it's like that kind of energy. This I actually get. I was like, okay. At first, I was like, this is a lot of earth. This is a lot of earth. There's a lot of earth here. But it doesn't necessarily, maybe it's this Hagal. It's a lot of earth here, but you're not necessarily on the same page. It's like you come from all the way over here and you make that transition. So I actually like that because it feels like with this much earth, it could be easy to get like stuck somewhere and to get fixed for a long time. Excuse me. And that's why it's like the energy that the Knight of Swords had, where it's like you accumulate a lot, but then you find out there's more. It's like you go from the Knight of Swords to the King of Swords, but that's just as like Seven of Pentacles, part of the cultivating whatever. Like that's nowhere near the end. That's how you take care of it. Yeah. And so now let's try to get into the breakdown. Is that a song? Yeah, very that, Holly. Wait, what? Ragnarok from the Viking Oracle. I didn't even know there was a Viking Oracle. Also, I just got hungry. Okay, Dali. All right. So okay. So in the water space, you got the Knight of Wands and the Ace of Wands. So you got fire where the water is supposed to be. Honestly, I don't know how much I'm pulling from like the images on these cards, but that's fine. I did. This is the Knight of Swords on the Knight of Wands. I guess they're both knights. So I don't know if you're building or awakening. And at this point, things can be so timeless that it doesn't matter. It's almost like it doesn't matter if it pre-existed or if you create it, because in a timeless sense, it is. It is, regardless of if it already is or if it will be, it is. Yours seems very excited. Like Knight of Wands, Ace of Wands, stereotypical fire sign, Knight of Wands energy. But I feel like it has a potential to be deeper urges. So it's almost like, and I've talked about it before, it's almost like you're building out your constellation by connecting to all of these different parts of you. And it feels like it's triggered by something, like an intrigue or something like that. And then you end up finding deep resonance with whatever it is that you're attracted to. And you may also find like natural ability. Like, oh my gosh, almost like I've done this before for several lifetimes or whatever. But it's almost like that's the thing that drives you. And it almost feels like, I don't know if this is in general or if this is your energy and your makeup, but it's almost like if you connected the element of water in a watery way, for you, it would actually stagnate. Because there's something about the water that feels still. And there's something about the fire that gives it like movement. It aerates it. It goes somewhere. And it feels like it almost reads like it connects deeper, but it's not even deeper. It feels like it's just outside. Or like it's on a different sort of like plane. Not necessarily above, but like they're parallel so they don't touch. What? Y'all got coyotes? And I feel like it's this energy, but it's in a different form. It feels like this element explains how you go from like Knight of Swords, King of Swords, Seven of Pentacles, Ten of Pentacles, Eight of Pentacles, like how you transition from thing to thing, because it feels like a fire that draws your attention and then you make your way to that fire. And like that's the fluid motion that you have. So it again, it's like it feels like more one of intrigue, but like you have the Fool in the first position, so again, it makes sense, right? And again, see, that was that like childlike wonder and curiosity energy, but it is also like mature. You know what I mean? They sound like screaming banshees. Oof. So next is right. Yes. Okay. You have air and air, which is gorgeous. Well, you got four cards in air. You have the 8, 2, 4, 6, 8, the 8 of Swords, the Queen of Coins, the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 of Coins, and the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of Coins. That's like this is it's coins heavy. There are coins all over this thing. What's interesting though, again, it's like even though there's a lot of earth energy over this, like all over this, it doesn't feel dense. It feels like earth is like you navigating the incarnation. That's why another reason why I really love like fire in your element of fluidity and transition and movement. Air is also fluidity, transition, and movement, but water has a buoyancy that air doesn't have. It's like you got to be really, 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 really light and a very little substance to like float on the air or to glide through the air or aerodynamically designed. Oof. Coyote and Roadrunners. um, I'm using the Dali Tarot and the Starman Tarot. So if you wanted to pick one, you can. If you wanted to pick both, you can. If you wanted to pick neither, you can also do that. If you wanted to take what resonates from one or the other, do that. However you feel it. Roadrunners and Prairie Dogs in Tucson. There's apparently a huge deer that frequents the backyard. So right on the other side of this wall at night, while I'm in my bed sound asleep, there's a huge deer in the backyard. And my brother said he fell asleep in the car out there one night and he woke up and it was just staring at him. He saw it out there the other day. I've never seen it though. Like I've seen it. Like my mom, like we went to the store one night and apparently it walked by. She was like, "Did you just see that? There was a huge deer that just walked by." I was like, "No, I missed it." Apparently I'm the only one who'll never see it, but it's fine. I know it's out there. Hello? Did I accidentally? My chat is scrolling all the way up. I feel like somebody's messing with me. I'm clicking the down arrow to move my chat back down to the bottom. And as long as my mouse is in the chat window, it scrolls up. Like I'm not even up there. Hello? Okay, it's fine. No! Maybe I'm getting too distracted. Stop! This is so weird. Okay. My chat box keeps just like scrolling up. All right. The Eight of Swords was first, and then the Queen of Pentacles, and then the Nine of Pentacles, and then the Five of Pentacles. The Five of Pentacles it has butterflies on it connected to what looks like, I guess they're branches of a tree, but it looks like the antlers of a deer. And there's another butterfly here too. Like there's these two butterflies, and then here's this butterfly that's darker. We can see the branches and the roots, but the trunk of the tree isn't solid. And it feels like in the Eight of Swords. Okay. With this full energy, this is a highly question mark. Where did the thought go? It plays off of that energy of like if you're someone who's meant to bring about great change in the lives of people around you in your own life and a community and a state and a nation in the world. It's almost like there's this greater, grander tomorrow. And maybe that's one of these fires. And it feels like with this Eight of Swords, it's like that vision is too far away. And it looks like a deflated butterfly. So I don't know if it's like potentially feeling like, because this is air, this is the mental space with a few other things, but mostly the mental space. It's almost like mentally you can't bridge or imagine how you're going to get where you're going. The good news is you don't have to know where you're going because fire is your guide. So it's very like the right next thing, what feels right, what feels like it's getting me closer type of energy. And then it's like as you get closer and closer, I feel like there's also an energy here where it's like it's important for you to celebrate small victories. It's important for you to remember or to understand, if you don't, that it's actually small things that lead to great things. Because again, there's something else about your energy that's a smooth transition. It's not very like abrupt. Not to say that in others it can't cause that, or not to say that you won't experience like jumps in your experience, but it feels like in a journey sense, it's very like this led to that, led to the other thing. And before I knew it, all of the pieces came together type of energy. It does, though, again, coming off of that Eight of Swords, it feels like a path that would be very easy to get discouraged in. Because again, it's like your energy is one that's so connected to the earth, but it's not an earth energy. It's not slow like the earth. It's not like it grows like the earth. You have to nurture it and care for it like the earth, but it's like a completely different time scale. Almost like yours would be maybe a little bit more accelerated, question mark, potentially. It does, thank you. Yeah. And why I say that, it's like coming off of the Eight of Swords, it's almost like you have this devil whispering in your ear in this Queen of Coins. And it's like you're gonna drop it. It's almost like it's trying to convince you that what you envision will not come to be. What you know to be true isn't. And it's like, well, if you look at the world, you would see that it's not whatever you think it is. But it's like as you become, the world becomes. It that's one of those awkward, like, because it does feel like this energy would be extremely mentally susceptible. And so you may struggle mentally with some things, or you may have struggled mentally with some things in the past. And look, it's like she's in a bird cage. You see that? How it looks like she's sitting in a bird cage. And it feel like it honestly reaches a point where she's like, the earth is what's weighing me down. It would be easier to do this if I didn't have to worry about like everything and everybody else. And it's the Queen of Coins. So, like, one of her strengths is nurturing and caring for others in the way that they need to grow. But it's almost like the difference between the Queen of Coins and you may be that the Queen of Coins understands that it takes time and it can allow that time. This is an energy that's moved by fire. It's an energy moved by fire that's so connected to the earth. And unless you're like magma, but magma is so close to the core of the earth that it's like, it's almost like our solar system, right? The sun is the core of the earth, the what outer core, the molten outer core, and the magma, that's like Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars. By the time you reach the crust, by the time you reach the surface, you're talking about Neptune, Pluto, maybe Uranus. Like the time of transits is vastly different. And then you move into the Nine of Pentacles and the Five of Pentacles. Between the two of these, I would almost be tempted to say that like you're the bridge in some way. You in some way bridge like where you are and like where you're going. This deflated butterfly, again, by the time you reach the nine, like they're all up and moving. Even this one, that's, I don't know. It feels like this butterfly has some kind of mystery that is not for me. I don't know. This butterfly feels different than these two. I don't know what the difference is. I'm honestly like, that's outside of the scope of whatever I'm supposed to do. So if you keep living life or if you dig into it for yourself, maybe you'll find some difference or some significance to that butterfly. Maybe one of the things is like these two butterflies are like they're in the canopy, they're above the canopy. This one is in this undefined part between the canopy and the like the root system. But again, like that's what it feels like. It feels like you in some way. Honestly, low key, it takes me back to Miss Remy Healing's. Was it a mandala? I think it was somewhere after gate 7 or between gates 6 and 7 when she was talking about the downloads and the uploads. Like, we're going to upload stuff from Gaia and then we're going to download stuff to Gaia. Because it almost feels like you become a server that other people download stuff from. It's like you put it into Gaia for other people to download. Maybe because you're closer to the core. I don't know. So actually what you're doing, you would be the water that wears away at the stone that carves the canyon. But with fire instead of water. So, very magmic. Oof. I am. It's fine. I don't, no comment. I'm glad it resonates. I can see this one as like this one is actually coming to me in a way where it makes sense. And like the other one, it made sense, but I was like, wait. It was also my first time. So like I don't have the same like, oh my gosh, you have fire where there's supposed to be water. Like, what's this? You have earth literally everywhere. What's that about? And what's the most interesting for this is that with the element of earth, can you guess the card that came out? I'll give you some time. Guess only one card came out for earth, for the element of earth. Only one card came out. I'll take a sip of some water while I allow you the opportunity. Excuse me. No, it's the tower. The tower came out for the element of earth. This it's interesting though. Because it feels like you market it in a way where people actually want the tower. which is the wildest thing about this. But that was the energy. The energy, it's almost like you get into the system to change the system from the inside. But it's almost like yours is an energy. It feels like Flösa. When I was like, Flösa feels like someone who stands in front of a doorway, in front of an entryway, in front of a portal, and says, something isn't right here. And it's almost like it's not until that person says something that like you start to realize everything that's wrong. But I don't know. Like that's why it feels it's not sneaky. It's almost like low key. It's almost like some undercover agent of change or something. Because it feels like it's almost like the type of situation where if everyone is comfortable, I can see this low key. I can kind of sort of see this hitting for like indigos or for someone who would identify as an indigo. I could see this resonating because it's almost like you see how unhappy people are with the systems they're in, and you see the faults of the systems at large. But it's almost like whenever you try to like talk to somebody about it, you're met with the backlash of their complacency or their surrender to like that's just the way things are. And yours feels like an energy that will low key. So to be on the receiving end of this energy, maybe it is a tower, but it feels like when it falls, like it's not. But it's like yours feels like a nagging energy that's like what it's like it starts to chip away at their complacency. When they're like, you know what, this isn't right. Something should be done. And blah 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 blah. And so it's like what it does is it wakes people up to the truth of how they really feel about the world around them and the way that they exist in it, to the point where again it's like they welcome the tower or they create their own towers. And by creating their own towers, it's just like they make the choices and decisions to no longer just accept the way of the world, but it's something that they do. But you like low key like influence it in some way, or you help them to reach those conclusions. If that made any sense. But it feels like a lot of the frustration would have been like in a time where you were like trying to get people to like see something or do something, but they were just like so in it that they didn't even care. So preoccupied with whatever. Did I actually show you the tower card? There's that open door. That's that Flusa energy. But I don't I don't know if I necessarily see your energy, which would make sense because we're only human. What can we really do? What can we really do? You might have to tell me what we can really do because you might know something that we can do that I don't even know that we can do because we ain't done it yet or we ain't been doing it. But it almost feels like you can maybe get people to see, well, free will, we all make our own choices and we're responsible for coming into our own. If you do everything for everyone, they don't really grow. That's why you also get the Queen of Coins energy. You can't do it for them. Because it doesn't feel like you necessarily offer a solution, though. And it's like, we all feel some type of way about the person who only points out problems, who doesn't offer a solution. But it feels like, maybe the point is for us to come up with our own solutions. But like all of that, it's more like the person or the energy on the receiving end of your energy. So I don't think I actually wrote that. Wait, did I? Hold up. No, I didn't. Because it's almost like the position of Earth, at least in this spread, it's coming out with like how you affect the world around you rather than like how you've navigated through life yourself, or how it's like instead of how you're impacted by the world around you, it's like how you impact the world around you. What did I keep saying on repeat? It's not what you think it'd be, or something like that. I don't know. I hear low key when I say low key, so we both hear it. The SBD tower, though. Wait, what? Oh crap! As soon as I put my mouse in the chat box, it started scrolling up again. I can't even read it. Yeah, that tower is crazy. Okay. So, last but not least is the element of fire. The element of fire for you, surprise, surprise, starts out with earth. Hold up, wait, because air started out with air. I'm going to put this in order so I can remember. Your water is like fire in both cards. Your earth is the tower. Your fire starts out with you don't have any water. You don't have any water. That's interesting. Your element of water is fire. Your element of fire, you do actually have fire, and well, you got everything in your fire except for water. I wanted to. That's interesting. You don't have any water. I didn't. There are some face down cards. Maybe they hold water. Maybe water is the thing that actually helps alleviate a lot of the pain that you suffer in the air element, or a lot of the negative whatever that you experience in the air element. Uh, but again, I'm not sure. The Christmas movie. Wait, what? So you start with the Three of Pentacles, which I kind of sort of low key love because you have the Eight of Swords at the top of the element of air, but the Three of Pentacles at the top of the element of fire. And in both cards, you see that city in the distance. But in this one, it's almost like you realize that it's not about what you do, it's about what you get other people to do. And this is why, with fire being in the space of water, it felt like outside. Like water for you would somehow stagnate and that you connect on a deeper level or something. I don't understand, like that part I'm a little fuzzy on. I don't really know, honestly. I don't know. But with this Three of Pentacles, it's almost like a fire to fire, soul to soul type of energy. But I don't know. I'm not sure. I don't know. And I almost wonder, oh my gosh, look, we got the little tree. You see the tree? This one like is all trunk and roots. The other one was like no trunk. And then the second card, I'm pretty sure is the Ten of Wands. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, it's the Ten of Wands. I mean, it's pretty universal Ten of Wands symbolism. Oh my gosh, look. We have some butterflies in here. This butterfly actually reminds me of the moth question mark that was on the trunk of the tree. And it's coming out in the element of fire for you. One, your water is fire. My water is probably water. I'm bland like that. Well, or air. I think it depends. My water can be a few things. I don't know if it can be fire though. I could see it being earth. I could see it being air. I can see my water being fire. I don't know. This isn't about me. I don't even think I've done this like on myself. But there's something, again, it's the energy of like helping other people reach conclusions within themselves. And it's almost like instead of you positioning yourself to be someone that other people are dependent on, it's like you empower them to do things themselves. And like that's that fire to fire sort of connection. I didn't pick personally. I never pick when I do stuff like this. I forget to pick, honestly. But the Ace of Swords comes after that Ten of Wands. And again, it feels like this energy plays off of the tower that was Earth. Because, like, it's the energy of you empowering people or asking the right questions. Hey, Denise, it's you, like, leading people to their own conclusions and realizations, and it's empowering them to come into their own. And what is nice about this energy, rather than one that tries to do everything for everybody, is that it empowers the collective. And it empowers the collective in ways where it's like it's for them to do what's for them to do and for them to operate in the ways that they operate, not necessarily in the same way that you do. And that's how you reach this space, it feels like. That's how you finally get to that city in the sky or castle in the sky or whatever. Yeah, somebody did say, oh, that was Ace for Earth. Back home from a night out. Hey, turn up, turn up. I feel like sleeping. That sounds like a wonderful night out to me. Just like sleep. And it feels like this Ace of Swords is like, this is feeling like the energy of Earth to me. So it's like it's a collective Ace of Swords that gets us, again, it connects us to whatever the city in the sky is. The one that you will frustrate yourself endlessly if you try to do it all yourself. It's just like it, that's not how it happens. That's not how it works. And honestly, it kind of goes beyond. And then your last card is the sun. So, I mean, that's gorgeous. And it almost feels like to do this, at least for you, It almost feels like to do this in any other way, it's almost to like maybe help us make that transition, but we would make that transition and be just as burdened as we are here now where we are. Did anybody pick the Starman Tarot, or can I go to sleep? I might have to do the Starman tomorrow. So, lastly but never leastly, I know the Page of Pentacles came out. Only got 2 cards. Oh no, actually, it's the Page of Swords. What is this? So here's the Page of Swords. Let me not put that there because I might think it's something else. Here's the Page of Swords. What I notice is this thing. And I was almost like, could that be question mark? Part of the trunk that's missing? Maybe not. I don't know. I had the thought. What's the most interesting is in your position 3, you go from the Knight to the King of Swords. Where you end is the Page. This is a Page 2.0 or a Page 3.0. And the Page 2.0, it's basically a king or a queen of swords that realizes that for all of their knowing that there's so much, a Page 2.0 in general, it's the space where a king or a queen and all of their knowing and all of their patterns and their habits and traditions, where they realize that something needs to change in order for things to continue growing. And so what they do is they become a page again, but they keep their authority. It's almost like if a king or a queen were to become an emperor or an empress, they would have to become a page again in order to make that step up. Because as long as they're sitting in king or queen, it's like they're too fixed to really experience or do anything new. So this Page of Swords is a 2.0 energy. I'm going to look at the card that was in reverse. Oof, wait. Hold up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The 6 of Swords, the Page of Swords, and the 6 of Swords. So I do think there's an energy. I don't know if this is the age of Aquarius, the time of Aquarius, or the whatever. And it's again, it's funny because it feels like this. Because we just had the 10 of Swords, or the 10 of Wands into the Ace of Swords. With that sword. Here's the page holding that sword. It feels like the 6 of Swords is ferrying off this 10 of Wands energy. But oh, it was just in my head and it left. Where'd you go? I think Earth for you is good because your energy primarily feels fire. Even though there's a like Earth all over this, your energy feels primarily like fire air. And it feels like all of the Earth could be coming out to like to teach you how the world works and how it operates. Not necessarily to make you a part of the world or to make you dense, but to give you a perspective on like things that you could suggest to move the world forward at a pace that would be more comfortable for the world type of energy. And so it's almost like that in itself puts you in a page of swords position, even though you are sort of like working into this king of swords energy. It's like it puts you in a page of swords position because like there are so many different types of people. There is no one approach for everything and everybody. And it feels like that's why it's the page of swords energy, because it's learning and it's applying to an individual. It's almost like it's learning how contextual all of those observations or truths are, or how it's like a result of an environment, or how it plays into the environment or creates an environment. It's like there's a realization here that some things aren't universal. They're not absolute. They're relative. And the page of swords is all about relativity, or things in relation to other things. Oh, look. Here's a darker butterfly again. So maybe it is the butterfly that was in between the canopy and the, maybe you the butterfly that do that. I don't know. And honestly, I feel like I'm done. Because this is supposed to be how everything comes together. And it's interesting because again, it's like it's that page, even with the Knight of Swords into the King of Swords, or with the Knight of Swords, it's like you're a Knight of Swords because, like, although you do know all that you know, it's about understanding that there's more, that there's different, that there's other, that there's else that you have no clue about. And the more you learn, like the more you like knight to king, knight to king, knight to king, knight to king, like every time you sort of find something different, knight to king, knight to king. I think the page of swords also has like an openness and a readiness to new. It's playing off of that fool energy again. And maybe this is related to the tower that came out for the energy of earth. But I feel like it would be important for you to know that there is no like dictation here, or like this is not a dictatorship type of energy. It's like it's almost like you can shift the energies, but you don't determine how it plays out. You don't determine where it goes. And in that way, it's almost like earth is not necessarily a gift for you. If this was like the, what do you call it, the soul body thing, like I feel like there are the people, maybe they're the manifestors or something that get something done, and then there are the people who like help the manifestors get stuff done. Like yours would be an energy that helps manifestors get stuff done. It doesn't necessarily do it itself. And I feel like it's important because I don't know if it's one of those things where it's like, yeah, I helped somebody, but like they were supposed to do what I wanted them to do, or like it was supposed to play out the way that I thought it was going to play out. And it's like, no, it plays out like, but that's the point of empowering other people, because then they get to make their own choices. You're empowering them to make their own choices. You're not empowering them to make the same choices and decisions that you'd make or that you think they should make. And I just feel like that's important to sort of like note that it may not necessarily happen the way you thought. And just because it didn't necessarily happen the way that you thought doesn't mean that you need to tweak your formula so that you can manipulate the result, because it's not about that. Oh my gosh. That was a lot. But also, there were a few spots that came out with like 15 cards. Oh my gosh. You remember how I said there are no cups? I didn't get a single cup in this whole reading. No cups at all. But the bottom of the deck, it's the 5 of Cups. But I kind of like, oh no, it's the 6. I was like, I kind of like this 5 because it doesn't look as whatever. It's the 6 of Cups. Bottom of the deck is the 6 of Cups. It's interesting because I would almost say, again, it's almost like that agent of change type of energy, where it's like you come down, you change something, and then you're like, all right, I'm done, and then you go back. I'm not reading that. Well, maybe I will read it then. Uranus and Neptune, the Hermit, and the Hanged Man. The Hanged Man is the one that came out. I don't know. Oh, you're a projector. I don't remember what I am. Archetype, soul, archetype, something. I don't even remember. Body, something, soul, blueprint, something. I wonder what it almost feels like for that one. The element of water would hold a sort of completion. It low-key feels like the element of water is like the heaven for that energy. And it feels like that's why it would make that energy stagnate, or that's why it would make that energy become stagnant. Because it's like it's for that energy to move or to move something or to encourage something to move itself. And then the water comes in after. And it's not that like you'll never experience water. I don't know if that energy would stop when it finds it. I don't know. 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 Very catalyst. Oh, girl. That's too much. Hey Siri, flip a coin.
Tails.
Oof. Oof. I'm glad you asked Twitty that question because I do not know. Oh. What time is it? It's late. I'm tired. It's 8:36. I haven't done the Starman. I know I don't have to do it, but I am already in the mood to do it, and I don't know if I will be anytime soon. My mind is very somewhere, girl. Y'all lucky I'm here with y'all. I could be out with nerds right now. Life. It feels like life is something. Oh my gosh, why am I feeling emotional? I think I might cry. It feels like life is something that is infinitely capable of surprising us in the most beautiful of ways. It's also infinitely capable of surprising us in not that great ways. Life is good. It's really good. Maybe I'll do it in between homework assignments tomorrow. I'm like, oof, Starman. I don't know if I can tonight. Ooh. Leaf become at the bottom of the deck for the Dali. What I love about Leaf is because with the energy, again, like remember, you are the water that wears the stone that carves canyons. And it's like what you're weathering. Talking about, let me get some Taco Bell so I can calcify my third eye. Um, it's almost like you're a decalcification energy, where the calc is that which is undissolvable. And I was literally just talking about that because I was like, with Eve, because Eve was like, oh, it reminds me of calc. And I was like, oh, well, with Aquarius, they got a calc that even water couldn't dissolve. And then your thing was that, like, somehow water might stagnate you in a way. It feels like, oh, that's see, what I don't like is stuff like that. But is there truth in it? Because it's almost like, well, if you were complacent or if you were happy, completely happy with everything, then it's almost like you wouldn't have an impetus to seek change and to be a figure, an integral part of change on whatever scale or level. So it's almost like if you're perfectly happy and content, then you're just like not really doing much, not really going anywhere. Ain't nothing wrong with that in my book. The Taurus in me says that's okay. But the fire in you says no, we need to move. Um and maybe that's why like water, I don't know, for that energy, water feels like good night, Eve. Water feels like I'm exhausted. I'm getting sleepy too. Yeah, I think I will, Twitty. I think I will go to bed. Water feels like an energy of completion for you. It's almost like you'll know you've made it or you're making it when water comes in. And it's like, wow. And I personally believe that we can reach a point where we can be happy and fulfilled and everything that like we want and still do what we need to do or have to do. Right? I feel like we can reach the point where we no longer need tragedy or misfortune or whatever to move us along our path. But I guess like if that is what you're desiring, Patrick, cough cough, you can't get complacent and get lazy and stop doing the stuff. You got to keep moving, or else it'll start to you get buildup or whatever. But anyway, I'm gonna head to bed as well. I hope you all have an excellent whenever you see this. I hope you're acting in alignment to make all that you wish to experience your reality, and I hope that you find what works for you, um, what speaks to you, everything along your way. Oh, I didn't finish saying what I was gonna say. Um, Leaf is at the bottom of the deck. It feels like you help other people become. That's what I was going to say. So, like that, the weathering, it's like you're stripping, you're going to help other people in some way, or just the energies in general. Like, it's almost like just you being you puts it out in the collective type of energy, where it's like you strip away, you decalcify who they are, and then they can become one of the many leaves at the top of that. And it's the leaves at the top working in conjunction with the roots in the bottom that solidifies that trunk in the in between. That's why those butterflies were all over the place. Or not, take it as it resonates. But anyway, I will catch y'all at some point to maybe do the Starman. If you chose Starman, this is a sign that you do it for you. I'm kidding. But that message may literally come out. So, am I kidding? I don't know. I'll pull you one rune, Starman. You get this one rune right here. Let's see what it is. Ethel, original birthright. And I know Reem just did returning to the original soulmate with the Ethel energy. Interesting. Very, very interesting. All right, bye.